Okay, part three. So all of this discussion about um, your hunger scale and all of that, it put me in a spin, and I couldn't um, I couldn't get out of it. And I think I even did one vlog, and Jesse had stepped in. I did a vlog, it downloaded later in the evening. Thank goodness that Jesse had seen it, and she commented, and I felt so much better, but I still was already, the head games were, had just put me in overload mode. So I stopped, I stopped stepping on the scale in phase three, and I waited so long that I was afraid to. I wasn't just afraid, I was terrified, because now I had gone so long. What if I step on there? Then how many correction days can I do? I'm going to be, now I'll step on the scale, I'm going to wake up, now I've got a plan, I've got to do a steak day. And then I do a steak day. And then the next day, I got to do another steak day. And it's just gradually, am I going to be able to get this off what I've put on? And I hadn't even stepped on the scale yet. So because of that, um, of not wanting to do that, I made a decision uh, to just not do it. That was it. So I didn't finish a phase three. I didn't do any kind of phase four. So that was a bust. The last one I did, I still had screwed up. Even though I'd lost weight, I've done good. I mean, I was losing it. I got down into the 170-ish something, and had actually done really good. And I've done these rounds, but mentally I wasn't consistent enough to say, okay, now I've done this, I did this round, and then I'm off this many days, and then I do this round, and then I'm off, and then the life maintenance I hadn't even come close to attaining. I got tired, I got burnt out of it. And at the same time, I'm menopausal. So this is all adding on to the stress and the hormones, and it doesn't take long. I mean, even this time when I came off, when the HCG got out of my system, and when I ate, my stomach all of a sudden started swelling up and got hard, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is the deal? I mean, it's just terrible. And I mean, you read about women that are going through hormones and everything. They have this belly fat they can't get rid of. They have this belly stuff, and so that was kind of discouraging, because I thought, oh man, I don't want to have this feeling. But I just ate. I ate the steak. I had 4 pieces of bacon. Then the next day, I think, I can't remember what I ate. I have to look back. I can't even remember. I know yesterday I had barbecue because it was my dad's birthday, and I made barbecue, and I used Annie's organic barbecue, which has some sugar in it, but nothing like the other. And using that, and with all the barbecue that I had, ate a little bit of that. I made coleslaw, and I used the powdered stevia to sweeten that one little pack. And I'm talking a bathtub of coleslaw that I made. And of course, I didn't eat any bread or anything like that. So coffee. See, Joanne, look at my coffee cups. I used to have rooster and chicken, everything. So anyway, uh,
I stopped it. I did okay. And let me tell you something about when you go into phase 3, if you think by not weighing that you still fit in your clothes, that is a good indicator that your body is doing good and it's reacting positively. You can read in the protocol, in the manuscript, where he talks about that. You might be one day wearing size 12 jeans, and 3 weeks down the road, something happens. And before you know it, you cannot fit into them. So if you got rid of your other ones, you're going to be going, to Goodwill or someplace to buy the bigger ones. This too was something that overwhelmed me about weighing all the time. Okay, the idea of getting up and stepping on the scale every day and having to confront that number, am I prepared to do that? This was something I had to really, really think about before I started this protocol again. I had to realize and make up my mind that scale is a tool. Now, maybe way down the road, I could get to that point that I am able to eat sweet potatoes. I like sweet potatoes. I don't eat white potatoes anymore. Very seldom. French fries, if my husband gets one, do I ever even want a French fry? Because white potatoes are bad. Pasta is bad. These are evil foods. These have been blacklisted in my life. And the last time I had pasta is when I went to Olive Garden because I knew I was going to go on the protocol. So I got 2 bowls of fettuccine Alfredo. And I ate it. And it was like I didn't even eat anything. My body just didn't feel like, it just felt dead. I don't know. It was a weird feeling because I don't ever eat it. I don't ever eat pasta anymore. I don't eat white potatoes anymore. Am I going to be able to eat lentils? How is my body going to respond? How about rice? I don't do good with rice. Any kind of rice. It doesn't matter how wild it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Rice and me is the same as pasta. So when I have chicken curry, am I going to have to make cauliflower rice? Is that going to be sufficient enough? You know what? It might just have to be that. I might have to say, go get the chicken curry, but I'll make my own rice. I've got to be willing to do that. Stop and get a head of cauliflower so I can make me some cauliflower rice. If that's what it's got to be that. I have to make up my mind that's how it's going to be. Am I going to have black beans? Am I going to have pinto beans? These to me are the foods that I want to be able to eat and they not affect my body. So I'm pretty sure that sweet potatoes are going to be okay for me because I think there was one time like that I ate a sweet potato, and I want butter on it. I want cinnamon on it. And I like to have a little bit of honey on it, or I'm going to have a little bit of coconut sugar, drizzle a little honey. I want to be able to have honey. I want to be able to have natural sweeteners that my body's going to recognize whatever nutrients that comes in them. This is my life maintenance. My life maintenance is not about going and being able to eat things that's going to hurt me, that's not good. I don't have, I've got this time, I got this body. I don't want to go to the doctors. I haven't been to a doctor's. I have not been to a doctor in 6 years. I have not been to a doctor. I mean, my husband's probably the same. I don't think he's been to a doctor. So anyway, that's how I had to go into this time, this round, that I have to take it serious. On this round, when the scale went up, when it was going up, 0.2, 0.4, I don't have Tom anymore. So my body was flipping out about something. I'm not eating anything off protocol. I'm not having any oils even. So what was wrong? Well, I knew back before that I did do a macadamia nut day. Actually, I did it 3 days. But I had decided, and I went back and I listened to one of my vlogs, and I listened about the Mac Nut Day. I know that's not on protocol. And if anybody that's read the manuscript, they know it's not on protocol. You have to be responsible to read the manuscript for yourself. I cannot be blamed if you've made a decision to not read the protocol and fly by the seat of your pants and do that. To me, that is the most important thing, is to read the protocol. And I already got off of that. So anyway, but I knew that when I did that Mac Nut that I was going to have results. And I did. And I just did it one day. And I lost, I think it was 1.4. Then the next day I lost 0.8. Then the next day I lost 0.6. Then the next day I lost 0.4. So 0.2, I'm sorry. And then I think the day after that, or maybe in between one of those days, it was a goose egg. It probably was in between the goose egg. The day after I lost 1.4 and then the 1.8 and or the 1.6. Anyway, there was a goose egg in between that. But then the releases started. They weren't huge. I'm not looking to lose a pound or two on it. That's not at all what I was expecting. I mean, I was shaking my body up to lose that. And I tell you why I justified that for me is because when I was on the Atkins and I read his book years ago, his old book, not the new one, the guy still got black hair on the cover. When I read that, he had talked about when you come to a stall, when your body stops releasing, he didn't say releasing, probably said losing, or the scale stop, whatever term he used, he had talked about adding something in, like a carbohydrate. Maybe add some kind of carbohydrate, something to jar. I don't think there was any fat fast that was talked about in the Atkins that I ever remember. I've never even heard of the fat fast until Nilly had brought that up and said that was on the Atkins. I don't remember that. I'm not saying it wasn't there. I just don't remember that. So in my mind, I thought, okay. Now, that's not in protocol. Simeon says that he talks about stall. He talks about plateaus. He talks about your body releasing the fat, all that being circulated, and the water fills in, and for that comes release. Doing an apple day to help to release that water, but it's mostly for a psychological reason. I could have chosen to do an apple day, but I didn't do an apple day. I did a Mac Nut day. Why did I do a Mac Nut day? Because of the healthy fats that are in Mac Nuts. I felt that my body would react to that in a good way, and not just that, but it would satisfy me. And it did. I didn't have any desire to have any more Mac Nuts after that one day. I had my 5 ounces of Mac Nuts. I woke up the next day with 1.4. If I would have woke up with 0.6 or 0.8, I would have been just as happy. I had already determined in my mind that that was going to be plenty for me. So that got me back on, to losing, whether it's 0.2 or whether it's a goose egg. I don't have any problem with goose eggs. I understand. But my body was going up. I was drinking plenty of water, and I was eating the right things. So, but I think all of us have to, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for all of us. I can't speak for you. I can only speak for me. And that is what I did. So this has been in my mind. This has been something I've thought of and I've meditated. Now, I could be, I'm very grateful that I am, 4 days. I mean, I've been 190.4, 190.4, 190.4. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, it's not 190.6. It's not one. Tomorrow it could be 191. I don't know. I hope not. I don't know if I've drank enough water. It's late. I still got my steak in there to eat if I'm hungry. And I might, because usually about 11 o'clock, quarter after 11, I'm hungry. So now, since I'm on phase 3, I maybe pop in a couple of macadamia nuts. I also had an apple. I took 2 apples. They were small apples. I baked them over my mom's because my husband made a huge homemade apple pie for my dad. So I thought I'll have some apples and whipping cream, and I made that. I ate that. I've never had any fruit on phase 3. Never. Dr. Simeons didn't say you couldn't have fruit. He said no sugar, no starches. Now, if he meant no fruit, I think he would have said no fruit, but he just said no sugar and no starches. Now, I didn't eat a banana, I didn't eat a pineapple. Some people do, and they do fine, but I figure the apple is very low in sugar. I mean, it's not really too crazy, and so it's the first time I ate it. So I got up this morning after having barbecue and coleslaw, which I made with yogurt and some mayonnaise with no sugar. It also shredded carrots in it, and I cut up a bell pepper and some other sweet peppers and a little bit of onion, and I ate that, and I ate the barbecue, and so I didn't know what today was going to bring when I got up and stepped on that scale. Was I hesitant about it? I was a little bit hesitant. Not only that, I didn't eat all my apple at my parents', so what was left over, which wasn't much, I mean, we're talking little, like a little half of an apple, I ate that at like 11 o'clock. So, because I'm hungry for some crazy reason, I guess because my husband's schedule. So anyway, that's what I did. And now we're already at 17